What's up, guys? We are back with another episode of The Road to Nats. Still just playing Yellow Luffy. We do have a slightly altered deck list for this video, and then the videos coming up. I'm more on this list testing out the 3 Bonnies. I did cut Nico Robin down to 3 so I could bump Kid up. In the first video though, we are testing out Flaming Dragon King. It's a pretty strong event. It lets you rearrange your life and gives you plus 4k. I'm not hugely sold on it, but it is a really good card, so I try to give it as much testing as I can. Let's jump into the games though. Looks like game 1 we're going to jump into a mirror match. We win the die roll and opt to go second, which thankfully we actually see. It's kind of weird for like a starting hand outside of Flaming Dragon King. Like we have the 6 Dawn turn, we have the 8 Dawn turn, we have the 10 Dawn turn. We're missing a good 4 Dawn turn out of this hand. I'm really hoping we draw into it, but we're still going to keep this just because we're trying to test out the Flaming Dragon King as best we can, and we saw in our opener. We do force the opponent to go first. They're just going to search out their own Flaming Dragon King and pass back. We have nothing to do. We're leaving the Dawn open. We're going to counter out with the Flaming Dragon King. It's a little bit of a waste being a 4k counter for a 6k swing, but it does give us the value of completely rearranging our life. We don't have the best stack here, so we're just going to put the Jinbei and the Robin to the top and then let everything play out as the game proceeds. We still really don't have much here. We're pretty much just going to pass though. We don't want them to gain the immediate value off of the Flaming Dragon event as well. That's why they left 2 Dawn open. So we just pass here and, you know, we're ready for them to do what they're going to do. They're going to swing 6. We do take it, choosing to play the Jinbei out, and then they're going to play a Kikanojo for 4 and pass back to us. Here we don't really care what happens, whether they give us cards out of hand or eat life. We're really just planning to drop the 6 cost Robin either way. Opponent is thinking about countering here. Really thinking hard about it, apparently. He does give us the 1k Sanji. We swing again with Leader. At this point, kind of hoping he'll just give us a card out of hand. He does. He gives us another 1k. We burn off with the Nico Robin. If you notice, we actually trashed a Sanji off the top of his life as well, which is pretty cool. It's one less body that he's going to be able to play out to spam board and swing wide. We know the next life is Nico Robin. Not the best. We are just going to let the Jinbei die. They play another Kiku. Here, our best option, we finally drew into Thriller Bark card, which is cool because we'll be able to use it for counter and then maybe play something off of the Gecko Moria that's in our life. Our best option this turn, I think, is just swinging and dropping the Kid. I think dropping the Kid first maybe presents the idea of them, like, I feel like when you drop a burn card at the beginning, your opponent's more likely to counter, but if you just swing leaving Dawn open, they don't really know what you're going to do, so they're more likely to take those hits. But I will play the Kid out first. Just kidding, chat, I lied to you. We swing Leader first for 5. Opponent thinking on taking it. And here we should just drop the Kid and pass. Seeing that they have the 2 Dawn active, we know they have the Flaming Dragon King. I think I swing the Robin, and I shouldn't. There's no real reason to give them this value off of the Flame Dragon King event. Opponent is just rearranging life here. But he has countered out of it, so I almost like that we play the kid last, because whatever their top life is... Oh my god, chat, why are we doing this? Honestly, completely forgot that we stunned and played a defensive body. I want to say the next card is a Gecko Moria if they drop like a Bonnie down. They don't. Chat, I'm so bad at this. I'm sorry. They burned the Gecko Moria with an 8-cost kid. This is actually like starting to get a little rough. Their board is looking a little troublesome. We don't really have the best cards to heal right now. We might be a little cooked. Just gonna swing 5, hope they take it. I'm not necessarily thinking about going for lethal this turn. I'm just trying to present a little bit of pressure. I might be trying to push a card out of hand and then maybe just swing into the Kikunojo, even though they'll heal. I was pretty shocked to see the opponent use the 4-cost blocker Sanji. Yeah, I think I probably should have played the kid the turn earlier and then use the Perona to trash off so I could heal this last turn. In hindsight, I don't necessarily love the way that I played that last turn out. I feel like it left us very vulnerable. We didn't set it as the second to last life. We should have. It kind of bit us in the ass there. Usopp comes in clutch though. Now they're just going to drop the Bonnie and put us to 0. But thankfully, we left the one Dawn up, which is kind of crazy. I remember at the end of the last turn during the game thinking whether or not I should have left it up. Then somehow, out of absolutely nowhere, we come back and we maybe have a chance to win. We really shouldn't have. We were kind of super behind, but the Flame Dragon King event really helped us turn things around. Just being able to stack the last couple cards, and the first 2 cards, going Jinbei for free into the blocker Nico Robin and then establishing a second blocker Nico Robin was kind of pretty solid. I don't know. I'm still not sold on Flaming Dragon King. It's a really good card, but I feel like a lot of turns you're playing with the maximum amount of Dawn that you have every single turn. You don't often have the availability to leave 2 Dawn active, but I do get why people play it. I'm just not sold on it. That's game 1 though. We're gonna jump into game 2. Game 2, we're gonna pair into a blue-yellow boa. Again, winning the die roll, getting lucky, being able to choose second. Very optimal for us. I believe this list does not have the Flaming Dragon King in it, which is fine. I don't really need it against boa. Boa is just going to drop the Lilith Searcher, grabbing out a trigger character or event. They're going to grab out the Slave Arrow 1 cost. We're going to pass here. We don't have a 1 or 2 Dawn play. Opponent probably thinking here they might play out the, I want to say it's Marguerite, the 3-cost searcher for Amazon Lily. I've also seen a lot of Boa players running either the Gloriosa or the Hiyori to swap their top life. Opponent is going to play out the Marguerite. They are going to search a Boa Hancock blocker out, having no Dawn to put on the leader this turn. They trashed off, oh my goodness, I don't remember if that is a 2k counter or not, but it is counter out of hand, and that's all that matters. So we're going to swing 5 here. We have a couple different plays that we can make. They took the 5k, so we're able to just freely play out the Kikanojo. Not that they necessarily have a play to pop the Kikanojo if they aren't at 3 life. I just, out of habit, like to only play it out when I know my opponent won't be able to get rid of it in some way by the time they're at 3. Opponent is kind of popping off here. Marguerite into Boa Hancock blocker is pretty strong. Kind of just anticipating 2 5s into 7. Instead they go 6. We have nothing at 3 costs to trigger the Nico Robin. So I counter out of these, and I think that's correct. I don't necessarily like how I counter out of them. They throw a 5 and we give them a Nico Robin just because we have multiple in hand. But I think I should have given them a Hogback as counter instead, just to put the Thriller Bark character into trash. Here we're just gonna, usually I would play the Nico Robin down first, instead of letting them get cards into their hand. But I'm either planning to play Akuma or drop the Robin. Like if we get cards out of hand and they still at the end of all of our swings are at 3 life, we just play the Nico Robin regardless. But if they let us take them down to 2, we just play the Kuma and we put the Kikanojo in trash. This is kind of anticipating a follow-up swing through from there where I think they're going to be pretty aggressive, and also you really never know. They have a lot of ways, like they have the 9-cost Boa. It's not their 9 Dawn turn yet, but I am kind of anticipating the following turn where they could start dropping the 9 Boas to rip our life and heal themselves. They play down the Boa Hancock blocker, a second one. A little unfortunate for us, we don't have an unblockable event at this point, and we don't have a way to search it. We are going to take, trigger, finally getting a Thriller Bark card into the trash, which is kind of unfortunate on our, not necessarily a misplay, but I don't like the fact that it's the first time we've gotten a Thriller Bark card in trash. We should counter 2k here, just give them the Jinbei because we searched it out. And they do choose to swing one of the blockers. I don't know if I love that from them, but whatever, we'll take it. On this turn, I'm kind of anticipating that they're going to block with the Boa Hancock, so in my mind, I'm kind of planning out just dropping another Kuma towards the end of the turn. But we really want to eat through this blocker that's standing at the moment. Oh my goodness, they do hit us with the You'll Frighten Me, taking themselves down to 1 life. We're thinking what to do here. We're just going to swing 7 with lead. Again, we're trying to take out the Boa Hancock. Like, I know I'm going to take a life from it. That's fine. We will play out the Kuma, trash off the Robin, pass the turn. I'm anticipating them playing a 9-cost Robin here. If they play the 9-cost Robin, we're not sitting in the best spot. Instead, they just play a Kuma. So at this point, they don't have the 9-cost, which is good for us. They trash off their unblockable event. Again, pretty good for us. Just going to swing a 6. We take it. We are able to trigger off of Perona. This is also great that our life was a Perona because it puts another one back in trash for a later turn where we maybe need to get out of one of their small body swings or their 6 or under swings, which is Kuma, Boa, or either of the Marguerites. I'm just going to counter out of this, putting another Thriller Bark in the trash. Then we're kind of just testing the waters here. We're going to swing smaller or more baseline to what our characters are and then try to drop the 8 cost kid at the end of the turn. We don't really have a way to heal this turn, unfortunately, so it's kind of our best option. I'm not a huge fan on how I process this whole turn. It's not my favorite sequence. It left us very open to another You'll Frighten Me or them just blocking with the Boa Hancock and making us take a life. Then on the following turn they play the 9 cost Boa. But the opponent's kind of also taking weird steps here. Not blocking when they could or giving us weird counter. So we end the turn just dropping the kid, burning their last life, and passing, draw into a Gecko Moria, trash off a Kikanojo. I'm pretty nervous here, actually, guys. We don't know what's in our life. Realistically, they could have played down a 9 cost Boa if they had it. And we probably would have been cooked. Not having a way to rearrange our life early in the game, not really putting good Thriller Bark stuff into the trash earlier to be aggressive sooner, not really seeing... We saw 2 Kumas, but we didn't really see more healing than that. They didn't swing into our Kikanojo, they didn't swing into our Kuma, so we're just kind of in a weird spot here. But they play down the 4 cost Boa, which at this point they could still lethal us. We're still sitting in a bad spot. We have to have some good life here to really be able to stand a chance against multiple 7k swings. Opponent probably just processing off what the best sequence is here. They're looking pretty good. They're obviously not dying right here. They're maybe thinking about going for game. They oddly just concede here, which I'm not sure if I agree with. Looking at our life, it is the unblockable event, which is also a 3k counter. Then a Gecko Moria, which we do have a Perona in trash. If we took 2 swings, we could freeze one of their other bodies. And then the last life is a Jinbei 2k counter. So at the end of it, we would have had 3, 5, 6, 7k counter. And we only needed to get out of 1 of the 4 swings that they had. So I guess we were probably safe, but we were in a pretty risky spot that was not comfortable. We kind of were relying on our life being good enough to get us through and having good counter, but it wasn't the safest route to take. We got it though. We do take those. We're going to jump into game 3. Last game of the video, we are going to run into a Green Zoro. Probably the hardest matchup of the video if I really think about it for a second. Green Zoro is really tough to pilot into because they're just able to rest your bodies and swing in and then swing into life, so you don't really have a great way to present pressure every single turn. For our build specifically, we're kind of hoping to open a Hogback and another Thriller Bark character like Perona. That way we could trash the Perona off early, play the Hogback out, it gets swung into, we still get to bring a body out to present a swing on the next turn. We don't have the option to choose starting order here, but they do take first. We're going to keep this because we have a Lilith and a Hogback. They play out a Hiyori, we're going to play out the Lilith. We're just going to search out a 2k counter here. There's not really a reason for us to grab the Kikanojo. It's just a brick, and if we play it on 4, they're going to play a Tashigi on 5, and we're not going to counter out to save it. So there's no reason to grab it, just grab the 2k. We pass. They're going to search with the Hiyori, of course. Oh, they don't actually, I forgot. They play the Mihawk into the Zoro because they see the God Hand. So we're just going to counter with the Hogback here. We're going to play the Bonnie out. I'm kind of expecting them to counter out of this first hit. Most people do, but I'm hoping because they're already down 3 cards out of hand, they will just give us the swing. We do get it. Unfortunately, our Bonnie draws are kind of terrible. We just see 2 Kikanojos. I was really hoping for another Thriller Bark character, but maybe we'll play the Kikanojo on the following turn. We just pass back. I'm anticipating a Tashigi on this turn to rest the Bonnie so they can swing into it. Not really a big deal. It becomes not necessarily a pseudo blocker in this matchup, but it's just another casualty. We do get the Jinbei out of life, which is pretty cool. We'll swing 5. Kind of anticipating counter here. And then we'll swing 7. We don't have a good 6 Dawn play, so we are just going to play the Kikanojo. I was hoping they were going to counter, or not counter, I was hoping they were going to take down to 3 life so I could feel a little bit more comfortable playing the Kikanojo, but I don't necessarily hate playing it while we have the Jinbei rested already. I don't think they're going to waste the resources to rest the Kikanojo as well when they can just swing 8 into the Jinbei. They swing another 8. We do see a Perona. We get to bring out the Hogback. This is kind of perfect because now we have a Thriller Bark in trash, or a different 4-cost in trash to bring out off of the Hogback. We will bring the Kikanojo that we trashed earlier. We'll take this. Unfortunately, we don't have a very solid 3-cost to play here. Our only options in the deck are Kumasi, which is really more of a trigger or a 2k counter. We have 3-cost Bonnie, but we've already been through one of those, so seeing a second one is a little rough, and we didn't have a 1-cost Lilith Searcher, which maybe still would have been a not terrible card to play here, just to further grab other counter, or maybe grab a second Bonnie for a follow-up turn. We are at 8 Dawn here, so we're going to go 2 into the Lilith. We're contemplating dropping the 8-cost Kid versus the 6-cost Nico Robin. I would kind of rather play the 8-cost Kid, mostly because it's a brick, and if we can get them down to 2 life, it will cycle a different brick out of our hand at the end of our turn. So we play the Kid, we burn them down to 3, we're just going to clear out the Hiyori Searchers, they're really annoying. We're going to swing 6 into 4, then we're going to swing 6 into 5, hoping they take it. They don't. We don't get the cycle this turn, but they are at 3 life, so our Kikanojos are online. They're going to pop up to 9 Dawn this turn. There's a lot of things that they could do here. Personally, I think they should maybe swing 7 with the Tashigi, then play a 5-cost Law out, a 6-cost Law out to bounce the Tashigi back to hand and then play it again and put the rested Dawn onto leader. They could then swing 12 into a Kikanojo and then 12 into the Kid, or they could go, 11 into the Kikanojo and 11 into the Kid, or they could just do 11-11 into the Kid and potentially kill it, or they would get 4 cards out of our hand. There's a lot of options. That's probably the one that I would do, but they're going to kind of shock us here as soon as they do it. They're giving a little bit of thought to it. They're at 9 Dawn. They're going to play the 9-cost Zoro. I don't necessarily love this play for them. I am pretty surprised. It doesn't seem like the most optimal play in my opinion. They're going to swing 7 in. We're just going to give them 2k, 1k. And then they will swing a 5 into the Lilith. We're just going to let it go. We're not in a terrible position here. We don't necessarily have to go for lethal. There's a handful of lines we could have taken. We could have tried clearing their board and then just countering out of... Because they're going to go Zoro, Zoro, Zoro character into our life. And then they're going to swing really big with the leader once or twice, depending on the number of restand events that they have in hand. So we could just go to counter out of those later hits. But we're going to see if we can just weed some cards out of their hand. And if we can get them down to 1 life, why not push lethal with a 9-cost Bonnie? We're going to swing 7 with the Kikanojo. I'm pretty sure this is one they'll have to take. I feel pretty confident that we've weeded their life or their hand down a good amount. So we'll swing 10. They will give us a 2k counter, 1k counter, 1k counter. They can only get to 9. We do get the game. Just another 9 cost and a Tashigi in hand, so no extra counter. Like I said, they could only get to 9 out of the 10k swing that we did. Pretty solid for us. Looks like our last 3 life were Nico Robin, 1 cost event, and a 2k counter Nico Robin. This is also, the 2k counter Nico Robin is also a blocker. So we would have theoretically been able to block out of a swing as well, depending on where it was coming from. I wouldn't have used it on the first swing from the Zoro, but I would have maybe used it on the second swing, or I would have maybe just kept it in hand, depending on what they had up for Dawn still, because they could have theoretically dropped a Tashigi, gained rested Dawn, rested the Nico Robin, but it didn't come to that. We were able to just go for game with the Bonnie. That's going to be the last game of the video though, and I mean now we'll just jump into the deck breakdown, I guess. Thanks guys. Overall, the more I test out the yellow Luffy list before we move into the EP03 meta, I am really finding a lot of use out of the 3-cost Bonnie. The deck lacks a good going first curve, and I think the Bonnie really helps with that. Also, a lot of the times your opponent will just over counter, kind of pseudo starving themselves. So it's a good addition to the deck for the time being. But that's going to be the video, guys. If you made it this far and you enjoyed, please make sure to like, comment, or subscribe. And if you'd like, join us in a stream. We're live almost every day. Have a good one.